Hey, hi team. Hello. Hi everyone. Hello everyone. Hello. Sorry for the late joining. Let me share my screen. I hope you are able to hear me. Guys, can you please put a message in the chat box? Okay, all right. Okay. So I think we have done with our discussion, especially on pushing data to the database table. So that was the part covered during our last class. And today's session,
This conference will now be recorded.
in today's session, we're going to see a few scripting examples, and if time permits, I will give a quick syllabus start on the AWS part as well. I mean, how exactly we are planning to cover the AWS part. So these are the things that we'll try to cover. All right. So the first and foremost thing, let's start the virtual machine. What are the virtual machine we have? Let's start that one. And don't worry on the scripting things, because it is not a day activity or 2 days activity or a week activity, because you need to have a continuous improvement and continuous writing examples, and you need to see the real-time examples continuously. Then only you will get an idea how to write in real time this kind of scripts and all, to be frank. Okay, you cannot get all these things in a day or a week syllabus, I'm sure in that. Anyway, we have a coverage for the coming weeks as well. So that is the reason I just thought to bring few more real-time examples as part of the scriptings and the Ansible. So these two things I'll bring a few more, and along with that I'll bring for you a Helm chart project as well. So a lot of interesting tools we will discuss for the coming weeks along with AWS. That is what my point. Okay. So let's start this particular thing. I think VM is on. Okay, I will just explain the scripts, whatever the things are there with me, whatever the things I collected from our real time. Okay, I will just explain that. Okay, and we will see few more for the coming days. No worries on that. All right. So let's connect to the mission first. Okay, let's connect to the mission. Okay, all right. Okay, so now my point is, I think there I just collected few scripts for you. Maybe you can go through those scripts. Okay, and you can understand those things as well. Just give me a second. Yeah, fine. Okay, for example, I think a few scripts I just pasted here, which will help you maybe to just have an understanding on the. These are the real-time scripting examples which we are using in our process today. Maybe these things will give a very good idea for you. But the concept is almost same, you know. So whatever the approach we deal so far, almost everything is same. You don't need to worry on that. Okay. The first and foremost thing, I believe. So whenever you are writing, start writing the script, I think obviously we'll start with this particular line number 1. Without this particular syntax, I think it will not be identified as a bash script. Okay, this is compulsory. The next one is there you are taking few arguments. Okay, few arguments from the command line. So that is what exactly it is talking about, right? While get options O, V, C, I, or P, doesn't matter whatever the variable name, doesn't matter actually. Okay, and you're just setting up a flag. This is also variable name. Now my point is why we are doing like this. You know, the interesting thing here is because I'm explaining this area for third time for you, okay, guys. Okay, third time, because you need to have such kind of practice. Okay, I'm just teaching you like this. Maybe you try to implement something in your real time, then you will feel more happy. So more happy in the sense that whatever the things you are learning, and you will present the same in your real time means, I think that's the beauty, to be frank. Okay, try to use the scripts. Okay, because I'm sharing each and everything whatever there with me, right? So I will almost whatever the things I'm sharing with you, you can go there and you can implement in your real time, and that's kind of innovations. Okay, those are the kind of innovations where those things will push you better in your future as well, for the further opportunities, each and everything. Okay, Right. So the first and foremost thing, these are the variables. Just see OVC, IP, RP. Those are the variables name. OVC, IP, RP. It doesn't matter. Any name you can take it, not an issue. But the point is, these are all the arguments which you will pass from the command line when you are executing this script. That's all. This particular do while loop is doing. That's okay, fine. So you are trying to pass the 6 variables for this one. So that is what this particular do while is doing. That's fine. That, for example, what exactly you are doing here, I will explain. He is trying to print whatever the variables he considered. Cluster. See how he's printing? He's printing because he's taking command line argument. You already know how to execute, how to run this one. If you give, whenever you are executing from the terminal, right? Whenever you are executing from the terminal, for example, right? So obviously, you will start like this, right? You will go here, you will just come here, copy, you will take this particular thing. I just gave the path. Just a second. Let path to be placed over there. I don't know. Did I place the copy path? Okay, alright, sorry. So now, I'm just showing you the execution idea, guys, okay? -o, organization. I'm just giving organizational VRIT. Okay, next, -v, environment, right? I'm just giving environment as a test. Next, -c, cluster name, right? The point here, you don't need to provide in an order. That is the interesting thing here, because you are using a reference here, right? That one exactly will match and it will pass that variable accordingly. For example, if you pass -r here, so saying that this is a resource group name as RG, this RG directly will go to the resource group only. It will never go to cluster. That's the interesting thing. Don't think like this order will follow exact this order. No, it will not go like that. You are not hard coding your variables. You are not doing that. Okay, you are not doing that. What exactly you are doing here? Simply you are using a flags. You are using a flag to pass the variable. That is what you are doing, right? So that's the interesting thing. So this is how you need to pass. You don't need to pass all the variables as well. These are optional. Okay, that under your wish. Right. Then, for example, whenever you are passing a variable, right, we are sending a value to a variable. To be frank, if you want to print that, obviously we will use a command called echo, right? You will use a echo command to print that particular part, right? Echo cluster, echo organization, echo environment, echo IP address, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. So each and everything you are trying to echoing. Echoing means just printing. You have C language or C Java language. You will use printf system.out.println, right? Or something like that. That is the echo command here you are saying. The next one, for example, you have placed one thing at the line number 25, kubectl config use-context a cluster. If I am not wrong, this command you already aware. You already aware this command, you know. Do you know what is this command means? If you recall one thing, guys, I don't know whether you recall or not. We have installed kubectl in this mission. Kubectl config get-context, okay? Get-context. For example, the moment when you hit this endpoint, see, you are seeing 2 clusters here. So meaning that you are setting up your cluster context before executing this script. You are setting up your cluster context. That is very important, right? That is what exactly the cluster name you are passing. This is exactly your cluster name, you know. This is what exactly, these two are your clusters only. I gave the demos on these 2 clusters. One cluster I have used for ELK, and the cluster I have used for Kubernetes project, right? So the point here is how to switch. That's the command, right? This is not a scripting command, guys. This is just a Kubernetes kubectl command. Kubectl config use-context. I don't know how many of you remember this one. That's your wish, okay? I'm just giving a sleep of 2 seconds, okay? Alright, so you changed the context. That's fine. Then he's just taking a variable seconds equal to 0, okay? Seconds equal to 0. Now, another important thing you need to understand here, okay? For example, because we don't have a clusters, right? Obviously we don't have a clusters, right? If we don't have a clusters, or the cluster is not in a running state, because our case is we don't have a cluster. See the error, guys. In real time, if you get this error, unable to connect to the cluster, connect with server, dial CP, look up ELK Kubernetes drive and DNS blah 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 some information. This is a private DNS of your API server, Kubernetes API server. So meaning that your server is not responding. That is the meaning, because you don't have a Kubernetes cluster. But these things are there in the VM because you pull the credentials to the VM. So that is the reason you are seeing these kind of clusters in the VM. but you cannot connect to this particular cluster. The reason this is a connection, get NS means get namespaces. You cannot connect to that one. The reason for that one is that cluster is no longer exist. Then how come the cluster is displaying here? Because you already pulled the cluster information. That's why you're saying here, guys. Okay, that's okay, all right. But my intention here is why I'm explaining this particular part. Okay, just remember, whenever usually we will see this error in real time, quite frequent. Okay, then you need to sense, okay, something is wrong with the cluster, not with your VM cluster. It's a cluster issue. Okay, cluster, you're unable to connect to the cluster means something wrong in the cluster, not your VM is good, right? VM is good. See, now I'm just taking a namespace status is equal to, okay, now again kubectl get NS, meaning that kubectl get namespace, he is passing a namespace value. Usually so far we deal with a namespace called default, so that is the thing we deal, right? Okay, fine, not an issue, doesn't matter. Okay, they are talking about a specific namespace. Okay, -o JSON means he is printing this complete namespace information into a JSON format. Okay, then he is applying a query, JSON query. He's applying a query, a pipe symbol JSON query. Okay, dot status dot a phase -r for read. Okay, meaning that he is just reading a status of this particular namespace. Is the namespace is active or not? Is that namespace is really active or not? That is what he is checking. That is what he is checking. Example case I'm talking about. So maybe in your real time, you may fall into a situation like, I need to verify my pod is active or not. I need to verify my cron job is active or not. I need to verify my job is active or not. For example, I'm just giving guys, okay. I need to verify my service is active or not. All these cases are applicable for this script. Okay, all these cases. That's why I'm just giving an example for you. In this case, we are just testing whether the namespace is really there or not. That's what we are verifying. A simple question you may get right in real time, whether the real namespaces really exist or not. Right? That's what exactly kubectl get NS. You don't need to provide this particular thing if you don't have any namespace. Just leave empty. Automatically it will go there and search the default. And it will turn that one into the JSON. In the JSON, it will go and get the status. Dot status dot phase. Don't confuse with this one, because that's the exact syntax format you need to give to get the status of your namespace. For example, in the same case, okay, I want to get a pod status. For example, okay, kubectl, for example, get pod status. Maybe you may get this one, right? I'm just trying with jQuery by using some JQ command. Okay, I'm just trying. Maybe definitely something will be there. I just need to find. See. This is what the interesting thing. Kubectl get pods -o JSON path. So interesting thing here is he's just getting all the pods information. What are all present in this particular path? That's what he's trying to get, all the pods. That's why he is getting this particular information, each and everything. Right? He's getting this particular information. Now, okay, you don't need to worry about this particular thing. No need to confuse as well. Let's go down. I just want to see if you have any important information or not. Okay. Yes, something like this. For example, kubectl get pods. He's getting all the pods which are present in a kube system namespace. The kube system namespace is the default namespace of the Kubernetes. It's one of the inbuilt namespace. It's not controlled by you. It's already managing by Azure. It's already managing by AWS. It's already managing by Kubernetes. You don't need to worry on that. Okay. So, and as part of that one, and kubectl get pods in this particular namespace, and for this deployment, just get all the pods -o JSON path. Meaning that what exactly they are doing here is they are getting status value and they are getting pod name as well. The output of this one is each pod and the status, something like that. So these are all some example things which you can notice in internet as well. Okay, internet as well. So that is an interesting thing which you can check always. Okay, this is one of the interesting thing. For example, I think this is in OpenShift. This is different one. This is a different one. Maybe I will go for some other example and we will see. Okay. But my point is, you don't need to worry on this one. Everything will be available in the internet. That's the interesting thing. Okay. Okay, my kubectl JQ is so powerful. So you can check this particular any site with the JQ. Okay, with the JQ, maybe you can understand something like, okay, what else are there? How exactly that particular thing works? Okay, how exactly that particular thing works? Those things and all you can easily understand, guys. Okay, easily understand. So that's what exactly my point. Okay, all right. JSON query metadata test. Okay, for example, see this something like this. Okay, so kubectl get pod. I think he's getting the pod in the namespace, so and so namespace -o JSON. He's writing that one into JSON format. jQuery, he's applying a query just to get .metadata.name or something like that. Okay, wherever the .metadata.name is equal to pod name equal to test, please pull that information. That's what he's doing. Simple. These are the typical kind of commands which will be helpful in your scripting, shell scripting. Okay, so that is where you may need to understand. Okay, these are also plays a role. These are also plays a role. I mean, whenever you are doing these kind of operations. Okay, operations. Now I'm just going back. So that's what exactly you are getting. Example in this case, I just showed an example for parts, but this example is from the namespace case. Okay, for the namespace. So you are getting a namespace status. Now what is your objective? My objective is until the namespace status become equal to active, right? Until the namespace status equal to active, you are keep on checking the status. That's what the interesting thing here. But this is definitely a very good example for you in real time, guys. Okay, not doubting that. Okay, see, I'm checking. Maybe in real time you may understand. You may need to find. Okay, I will give one real time example also. Don't worry. So until namespace status equal to active, to if kubectl get ns, what are the namespace -o JSON jQuery, I mean JSON query dot status are equal to active, then I'm just saying echo that particular namespace is created. If it is created, just break, just move out of this loop. Don't stay there. If it is not equal to active, echo waiting for the namespace to be created and continue. Continue means again it will double check your if condition and it will continue. That is what exactly this particular thing will happen. Then that's completed. The finally, what exactly you are trying to do? Once that particular, maybe you have some action. Right? You have some action where that particular namespace got created. I want to do some action. That's what you are waiting for. Then kubectl get pods. A grep. He's getting all the pods which are present in this namespace. Whatever the namespace got created, he's getting all the pods. Then echo that particular namespace found and proceeding for. So this is his customized work. You don't need to worry. Then he's applying some deployment YAML or configure some service YAML or ingress YAML or pod YAML, whatever it is. So first he's making sure the namespace is created, then he's applying the further commands. So that is the interesting thing here, guys. That's what the thing I want to share with you. I'm just sharing with you in the chart as well. Okay, please use this one. That's one of the example. Definitely this one will help you. I will give one example for you in real time. Maybe you may fall into that. Okay, you may fall into that. So that is, I'm just opening a drawing screen. Okay. Okay, fine. So for example, guys, okay, I will give one very good example for you. Okay, so you know very well that, so in real time, right, usually how exactly the things will be. This is Azure repo, this is Azure build, and followed by this is Azure release. Okay, right. Now the point is, okay, once you have the way like this. Okay, once you have the way like this, I'm just selecting things in a proper way. Okay, right. So now the point is, always I'm giving one real time example for you guys. Okay, trust me, definitely you will also fall into the same, no doubt in that. Okay, people will ask you to do this one. Okay, I'm just selecting something. What happened? Yeah, right, makes sense. Okay, fine. Okay, I'm just selecting something as part of this implementation. For example, this guy is your tech lead, for example, your technical lead. Okay, tech lead. Okay, obviously tech lead has some technical team, where the technical team consisting of back-end developers and front-end developers, testers, each and everyone, automation testers, everyone. Okay, I'm simply placing a combination, simple combination. The simple combination is 2 FE, 2 front-end, 2 back-end, 1 auto. 1 auto means automation tester, okay, and 1 manual. Okay, for example, your Scrum team is different. I'm not talking about the Scrum team, just a technical team. Okay, now the question, now the question is here, guys. Okay, now you know very well that today you are doing this particular thing very comfortably, because you already aware, because you did a project, you are well aware of how exactly you need to handle this deployment for the Kubernetes cluster example, right? You know very well that, and you are handling that one also. For example, a case application, for example, one Kubernetes application is there, that's what exactly you are testing. So your release pipeline is releasing that particular application to this particular Kubernetes cluster. Okay, you are doing this activity really well. Today your things are going really good. Okay, now what is happening? Okay, day by day or sprint by sprint, the features are keep on adding to the repository. Those are getting built. Maybe you just assume you have enabled CI. Just assume it's a dev environment. Better understanding maybe. Okay, just assume it's a dev environment. Just a second, guys. I lost the power. Just a second. Wait. Okay. So now my point is, okay. Now my point is, so you have enabled CI and you have enabled CD as well. Okay. Both CI, CD, both are enabled, guys. Okay. Your process is really doing good. Now the challenge thing for you is, okay, since it's an initial project, your repo, whatever the repo, 2 FE and 2 front backend are committing, and you are building that, you are releasing that to the application, Kubernetes application, and finally your team, your testing team. Okay, I'm just keeping a testing team here, guys. Okay, testers are business users. Okay, business users are using your application, right? Obviously, right? So that is your end goal. That is your end goal is business users should use that one, right? Right. So now my point is, guys. Sorry. Okay. Now my point is, okay, once the business users start using this particular thing, always you need to make sure your application is always healthy, or not having any kind of environmental issues, or not showing any kind of issues for them, right? Obviously, always we will try for this, correct? Always we will try for this. Now the point here is, guys, okay, now the point here is, if you are keep on developing your code, okay, you are keep on developing your code by sprint, okay, sprint 1, 2, some sprint n, okay, something like that. Obviously, you are building that automatically, you are deploying that automatically by using this Kubernetes app, and finally you are accessing that. Definitely, there may be a kind of a break in your application, definitely, or something like not working as expected. The reason is, if the front-end guy and the back-end guy, these two guys only will ensure the unit test only. They will not ensure your integration, right? For example, one FE and one BE is doing one module, and another FE and another BE is doing another module. Just assume it's a microservices. Okay, this one FE, one BE, one module, another FE, another BE, another module. These two modules needs to be interactive, kind of integration thing, which they never test usually. Maybe they test, but they will not test with all solid scenarios, right? They will not test. They will simply test, okay, things are working, okay, good. That's all. Simple test. Because they need to deliver their task. They cannot make 100% test If they do the 100% test, there is no need of automation manual base here, right? So the moment when this particular repository, repository is pushed with two microservices with two different set of teams, FE1, BE1, FE2, BE2. Now, at the moment when you deploy that one to the app, right, we have a way to test these particular integration things are really working or not, right? We should have a way. But every time you cannot ask business, hey business user, can you please go there and test our application? You cannot ask. Always you need to ask the tester only. But do you think tester will be always ready along with you to test your feature? For example, you have deployed 10 times in a day your 10 features, for example, whatever the changes, so could be small changes as well. But you cannot ask the tester, hey tester, go there, test it, go there, test it, go there, test it. You cannot do that. Okay, you cannot do that. Maybe today you are asking your tester like that. Okay, when now you are delivering a tester, go there and test it. But that's not the practical way in real time. Okay, that's not the practical way. At least you need to have some level of confidence on your code, whatever the code you have written. That should not break your existing functionality. That one you need to make sure, right? To do that, you need to keep an integration automation test, a test automation, okay, which we discussed is Selenium. I hope you already remember that particular part, okay. Now, how exactly this Selenium works here? That is also you need to understand, okay. For example, see Selenium, if you recall, the Selenium is also you are configuring as a one of the build pipeline or release pipeline, doesn't matter. Maybe in this case, I'm just configuring as a one of the build pipeline, for example, okay. Test automation. Hope you remember our test automation pipeline, okay. Now my point is, whenever you deploy something to the AKS app, do not inform the testers or business users directly as to something being deployed. Please go there and test. Don't do that. After deploying, try to have another task which will help you, okay, to ensure the environment health, right? Environment health, for example, that could be API health or functionality check, whatever it is, okay. Functionality test, okay, functionality test, but automatically, guys, that's the point. To ensure this particular test, you need to, after deploying your particular application to the Azure Kubernetes, then you need to trigger API functionality test after deployment, meaning that you need to go there and you need to connect to the test automation pipeline. You need to trigger the test automation pipeline, guys. That is the thing you need to make sure. Once you trigger the test automation pipeline, now test automation pipeline will make sure, okay, things are really doing good. In this newly deployed Kubernetes cluster, right? Things are really doing good. Now this is the time to inform the business users, okay, hey business user, can you please go there and test, okay, because the functionality is already up, it's doing good. We got a level of confidence from the test automation pipeline. So the test automation pipeline should be configured with a proper scenarios and the proper functionality, right? So then only you can make sure this particular functionality is really doing good. So that's the bottom point, guys. Now, to trigger this particular activity, obviously it's a dependency pipeline now. Simple, it's a dependency pipeline. In Azure DevOps, you need to call a dependency pipeline in the release, in this particular release pipeline, you need to call a dependency pipeline. Maybe I can show that, okay? You need to call that. So once you call that particular case, obviously the build pipeline will be triggered, and the build pipeline will make sure, there is a condition again. If really this test automation is pass or the status is good, then only you can keep this build as it is. If the test automation is failed, you can roll back whatever the deployment you did just now. Roll back in the sense, roll back to the previous version. For example, V1 is running already. V1 is running, it's healthy. Now the developer, whatever the set they deployed, and they release a version called V2. I'm just giving it. Then they will call the version V1, V2 and all. Don't worry on that. The latest changes. Okay, just assume it's the latest change. V2. But to ensure V2 changes are good, you just come here, right? This is step number 1, okay? Step 1, right? Deployment. Once the step 1 is deployed, the next task is you need to trigger a dependency task, okay? Dependency pipeline. This is called a this particular test is called dependency pipeline, okay? Pipeline test. Dependency pipeline test. You need to call this particular thing. This call is nothing but triggering this particular pipeline. You are triggering this particular case. Now step 3 is you will make sure step 3 is you will make sure this particular test automation is really good. The test automation will go there and execute on the newly deployed environment only. It will go there and check all the possible APIs plus GUI, whatever it is, okay, whatever the test. It will test, and with the newly deployed build in the dev environment or asset, it doesn't matter. And finally, it will give us a confidence, yes, the deployment is good. Then you please go there and inform your testers or business users, hey, please go there and use the application. If this is not succeeded, then automatically you can configure to roll back to the V1. Simple. You can roll back to the V1. That's all. This is the advantage exactly you can get. In this particular flow, you need to understand one simple thing. When exactly you need to trigger the dependency pipeline? When exactly? The exact thing here is, once you deploy your application, your pod should come to active. There is a condition. Pod should be active. Active. Then only, if your pod is active, then only that is the case, right? Then only active with V2. With V2, meaning that with V2 version. With V2, okay? So, if the pod is active, obviously, you can trigger test automation on the V2 pod, then you can ensure everything. So, to check this one, what are the script we discussed just now, this one will help you. This logic will help you guys, okay? This logic will help you. What are the logic I have placed here? This particular line of code will help you, okay? This particular line of code will help you to make sure the particular pod status will become active, and then, right? And then only this particular dependency pipeline will be triggered, okay? And finally, you will make sure this is success, then only deploy. If it is not success, just roll back. So that's the point. This is one of a real-time case which you can make use, okay? One of the real-time case. So that is the exact thing I just want to give a demo on the part, what of the scripting part is there with us, okay? Alright guys, any questions so far on this particular part? Okay, alright, okay, fine. So this is one of the thing. Maybe in future, in the coming weeks, I will come up with a few more these kind of real-time examples, and I will show you how exactly our real-time is also there to do this particular part as part of the Azure DevOps, okay? I will show that particular area also so that you will get a very good confidence, okay? Okay guys, okay, so guys, I think I have the power cut right now, so that is the reason I can continue this particular part, okay? I think soon the lights will be off here, so that is the reason, okay? So guys, if you don't have any questions, I think we can drop off for now, okay? The next immediate session we are going to start off with AWS, and I'll bring few more scripts and Ansible things in coming days as well. Don't worry on that, okay? I'll bring all real times, whatever we have today. Don't worry. Any questions, guys? And you have a class tomorrow. Tomorrow you have a class, okay? Please join the class tomorrow. Alright. Thank you very much, guys. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.